are gonna be a little bit more tacky, and you just really wanna warm them in your hands first till that disappears. And you're gonna press it into the skin. We're gonna prep with a little bit of lip balm. And also a little bit of eye cream. Look up for me. I really like the MAC eye cream because there's a little bit of caffeine to it. So it really smooths the eye area and preps the eye area for under eye concealer to go on. So today's makeup that we're doing is just a very easy, simple makeup look. So the first thing we're gonna start with for makeup is under eye concealer. I start here because when we conceal and correct the under eye and brighten, it makes us look well rested, like we had a full 8 hours of sleep. We all have darkness underneath of our eye, and the darkness pulls the eye down and makes us look tired. So the first thing I'm gonna start with is a corrector. It's a pink base. It's a pink base, and what the pink does is it counteracts any blues or purples of the darkness. So you wanna correct that before you put a concealer on top of it. If you don't, the darkness will still show through and it will look a little gray or not skin tone correct. Sometimes a lot of people think for under eye concealer to just automatically go lighter, which is correct because you want to brighten underneath the eye. But if you go lighter and you still have that darkness underneath, it's just going to give a gray cast. So I'm using a concealer blending brush and then my finger to warm and press the makeup in. So already we're brightening underneath the eye, it's giving a lift. And now I'm gonna go in with the concealer, which is skin tone correct, and put it right on top. Foundation is a really big step in terms of it's really important to get this right because you want your skin to look like skin. She doesn't need foundation all over, it's just in areas that we need to correct. So a lot of people have redness in their chin and around their nose area. We're gonna start here because once we even out that skin tone, we won't necessarily need makeup all over her face. So I'm even just gonna use my finger, and this is the foundation stick. And I'm gonna start right here in the redness. So already you can see, once I even out that skin tone there, it's giving the appearance of an overall more even skin tone all over. I'm not gonna put foundation all over her skin. Around the nose, make sure to really go around and under. Your fingers are great tools because they're warm and they melt that makeup into the skin. You can also use a foundation brush. A foundation brush is good for also just really getting into the skin. You can kind of buff the makeup in. And I'm just gonna knead that line of where I put her corrector and concealer. When you use the flat side of the brush, it's gonna build coverage, or I can use the brush to really buff and blend the makeup in. But on areas where I want more coverage, I'm gonna use the flat side. So now for powder. Powder doesn't need to go all over the face. It's just gonna set any makeup that's already on your skin and also absorb any excess oil throughout the day. If your skin is at all dry, do not put powder on top of it because it's just gonna look like makeup sitting on top of the skin. I'm using a little eye blender brush, just like a mini powder brush, a pale yellow loose powder. Look up for me. I'm just gonna lightly dust the powder on the concealer. Okay, now for one of my favorite makeup little tricks or tips is bronzer. I use bronzer every single day, even in the winter. I'm using a flat brush with not a beveled edge, just so I get the most even application with the bronzer. I'm also gonna take it just to warm up the skin. So now we're gonna move into like the color or the makeup side of her face. So I'm going to choose a a pop of color for the apple of her cheek, again to bring that life and that healthy glow back into her skin. For a blush brush, I also want to use a beveled edge so that it blends really nicely. You're going to smile and you're going to take the brush and you're going to start right on the apple of the cheek. And you're going to take the brush into a downward sweeping motion. For her lip color, I just want to keep it really simple and really natural for something that she can just throw on without even looking in the mirror. I'm choosing like a pinky brown color because that's what naturally is found in her lip. For brows frame the eye. So I'm going to use an eyeshadow with an eyebrow brush that's just a little bit firmer of a brush. So you can kind of start along the bottom of the brow, and I'm using a short stroke to mimic the hair of the brow. Also focusing on the top of the brow. When you do that, that's what gives the eye a lift. If you feel like you've done too much or it looks too dark, you could take a little spoolie, which is just like an empty mascara wand, and just comb through the brow. It softens the brow. I'm gonna do a basic eye for Lily just to keep it really simple. I'm gonna use actually the same color that I used for her brows, I'm gonna use for her eyeshadow. And because I'm using a different brush, it's gonna give a different look of the color. But I'm gonna start right along the lid. I always like to come back to the center of the lid. And then just in like a windshield wiper motion, soften. You don't need to spend a lot of time here. We're just defining the eye. Okay, the last thing we're gonna do is her eyeliner and mascara. So I'm using the brush and I'm not pulling or drawing a line. What I'm gonna do, turn a little bit this way for me, is I'm just gonna use the brush and I'm gonna stipple right into the lash line. You're almost kind of like connecting the dots. The key with eyeliner is to have no spaces or gaps between the eyelashes and your eyeliner line. The point of eyeliner is to make your lash line look fuller. So first thing with mascara, it's a black mascara. And I'm gonna get right on the base of the lash line. I'm squiggling the brush back and forth, and then I'm curling it up. So the last thing I'm gonna do, if you get any like little fallout from your eyeshadow, if you get any makeup underneath, it might happen a little bit with the eyeshadow, of using eyeshadow as eyeliner. Look up for me. So you can just take that brush and just dust underneath your eye. You don't want to take your finger though and kind of smudge it because you'll just smudge any makeup underneath your eye. Okay. So the last thing I'm going to do is just really lightly press that concealer into the under eye again. And there she is, ready to go for the day. Super pretty, super natural. She still looks like herself, just like a really pretty best version. I love it.